Hello, everyone. My name is Jennifer Ramos. Today, I'll be sharing my healthcare ethics case study on insurance delays in cancer treatment. This presentation explores how administrative barriers in healthcare can turn into life-threatening situations. I'll be walking you through the case of Nicholas Cran, a 22-year-old cancer patient whose treatment was tragically delayed by his insurance providers. This study shows why timely care is not just a medical issue, but also an ethical, challenging one that is an issue in our very healthcare system. In 2019, Nicholas Cran was diagnosed with an aggressive cancer in California. His doctors recommended that chemotherapy needed to start immediately, but his insurance company, Blue Shields, placed the request under review to determine if it's a medical necessary um, issue. Weeks went by without approval. During that time, his cancer spread and became untreatable. By the time he finally received authorization, it was too late. He passed away soon after starting one round of chemotherapy. His family filed a lawsuit arguing that the insurer's delay effectively denied him access to life saving care. This case prevents a clear ethical conflict between the physician's duty to save lives and the insurance authority to manage costs. Physicians are guided by beneficence, the duty to act in the patient's best interest, while insurance often justify delays under the principle of justice, claiming they must fairly distribute limited resources. The central question becomes, can cost control measure ever ethically justify administrative delays that risk a patient's life? This case challenges us to think about how far justice can go before it begins to violate beneficence and non-maleficence, the duty to do no harm. From the legal perspective, the current system leaves patients exposed. Under ERISA, passed in 1974, patients have limited power to hold insurers legally accountable for delayed or denied care. The Affordable Care Act improved access to insurance, but it did not create any federal deadlines for approval decisions. Some states have tried to address this through something called Gold Card laws, which allow providers with high approval rates to skip prior authorizations. But these laws don't vary widely and don't have an impact on urgent oncology cases. This inconsistency means that patients facing aggressive cancers are left vulnerable and are left delayed treatment. When we look at Nicholas' case through the lens of bioethics, multiple principles were violated. His autonomy was restricted because he couldn't move forward with the treatment his doctor recommended. Beneficence and non-maleficence were undermined because the delay caused direct harm. Justice was violated since patients with different insurance plans do not receive equal treatment. And fidelity, the trust between patient and provider was broken, creating moral distress for healthcare professionals. From an ethical framework perspective, principalism shows that the insurer's sense of justice does not outweigh the duty to protect life. Utilitarianism fails here because no amount of cost saving can justify a preventable death. And virtue ethics reminds us that compassion and moral responsibility must guide every healthcare decision. Insurance companies often argue that prior authorization is necessary to control costs, prevent overtreatment, and keep the system sustainable. While cost management is important, it becomes unethical when it endangers a patient's life. Studies such as one published in BMJ in 2020 shows that even a 4-week delay in cancer treatment can significantly increase mortality. This evidence tells us that administrative delays cause measurable harm. Ethically, cost control can never justify foreseeable suffering death. That's why experts have called for a clear time-bound approval deadlines, such as 72 hours for urgent oncology cases. Empowering doctors and physician assistants to expedite appeals could help restore balance in the forefront of care. As a future PA, we play a vital role in bringing the gap between patients, providers, and insurers. Advocacy isn't just part of our job, it's an ethical obligation. When administrative barriers threaten patient care, it is our responsibility to step in, communicate clearly, and push for timely decisions. This case reminds us that beneficence and non-maleficence aren't abstract ideas. They're values we live out by taking actions for our patients. Every time we file an appeal, make a call, or challenge an unjustified delay, we uphold the integrity of our professionalism and trust our patients placed in us. This presentation draws from peer-reviewed research and credible sources examining how insurance delays affect cancer treatment and outcomes and patient mortality. These include systematic reviews published by BMJ, JAMA Oncology, as well as studies from the Journal of Clinical Oncology Practice. Together, they provide strong evidence that even short delays in treatment can lead to worse outcomes. The tragic case of Nicholas Cram reminds us that every statistic is a real person whose life depends on an ethical commitment to timely compassionate care. And that concludes the rest of my presentation. Thank you for listening.